Aaron Rodgers, if you haven't heard, has a new contract. Teddy Bridgewater, if you haven't heard, has another new team. And we're going to break it up into two halves. Rodgers, then Bridgewater. So let's start with what's going on with Aaron Rodgers. He does indeed have a new contract, as broken by James Jones, former Packers receiver. It is considered poor form to speculate on who the sources may be of members of the media, so I will not engage in such irresponsible speculation that James Jones got this information directly from Aaron Rodgers himself. You would think at least a phone call would be made. Hey, Aaron, I have some other unnamed source that's saying you have this new contract and it's worth this much money. Am I wrong? Regardless, he's not wrong. It's a 4-year extension, and it's worth $33.5 million per year in new money. We've just been down this new money rabbit hole with Odell Beckham Jr. The difference between new money and total value at signing. Aaron Rodgers had 2 years left on his prior contract. When you put what he was due to make with what he will make and you slap it together, it becomes a 6-year, $176 million deal, which isn't bad, right? I think he'll be okay. If he invests wisely, he probably will have enough money for himself and a generation or 5 of Rodgers' progeny. Some details about the contract itself, which I obtained from a source with knowledge of the deal who is not Aaron Rodgers. I will not disclose my sources, but I can tell you this. The following information did not come from Mr. Aaron Rodgers. How about a signing bonus of $57.5 million? That's a record by $7.5 million. Last year, Matthew Stafford got 50. Aaron Rodgers, 57.5. And that's the best kind of guaranteed money because you get it right now. You have it now. You don't have to wait. You don't have to be under contract any time in the future. Now, if you retire prematurely, you have to pay some of it back. And who knows, maybe he retires prematurely and he may have to pay some of it back. We went down that road with Ben Roethlisberger last year when he was talking about retiring, and he would have owed $18 million if he had before the 2017 season. But $57.5 million to sign. Uncle Sam's going to get his cut. The state of Wisconsin's going to get their cut. So he's not like he's walking out of there with $57.5 million. But again, I think he'll be fine. Through the end of the season, he will have made $66.9 million. And here's the kicker. By next March, $80.8 million will have been paid out, or at a minimum earned, by Aaron Rodgers. Sometimes there's deferred compensation in there, but he will have earned from the Green Bay Packers, a publicly traded corporation, which clearly has the money to afford this specific obligation, $80.8 million through March of next year. And it does work out to $176 through 6 years, $103 million through the first 3 years of the deal, which, if my math is correct, and it rarely is, you got a little front loading here. You got 103 for the first 3 years, 73 for the final 3 years. And I'm going to need the assistance of my calculator just so I get this right. I should be able to figure it out. 73 divided by 3 is $24.3 million. A far cry from the $33.5 million total average. So he's making a lot of money over the first 3 years. Let's do 103 divided by 3. That's 30. That can't be right. 103 divided by 3. That's 34.3. 76 divided by 3 is 25.3. The 4-year average is 35, something like that. I don't know. Just, hey. See, this is what happens when you do math. You get it all screwed up. Bottom line is he's getting 103 over the first 3 years, 73 over the last 3. So when we get to the final 3 years, if he's still playing at a high level, there's a chance he's going to feel like Julio Jones. And what happened with Julio Jones this year? He looked at the final 3 years of a 6-year contract and said, I'm getting screwed. Well, no, you screwed yourself because you agreed to the contract, and now we're at the point where you've made the front-loaded portion, and now you're on the back 9, or the back 3 as the case may be, and you're realizing you got screwed. No. This is the deal you agreed to. This is what you're making. And there's a chance that Aaron Rodgers may not be thrilled with his contract when we get to the point that he is making those final 3 years of the deal that he now has signed that, again, will take him through 2023. Now, a couple of things real quick. This isn't a record-shattering deal. It's a record-setting deal. $33.5 million is $3.5 million more per year than Matt Ryan. That moves the bar north. But it's not so far north that at some point in the next 4 or 5 years, someone won't pass it, especially in new money, that fictional assessment of what a deal is worth. When it comes down to total value, he's at 29.3, and that's not much more than Matt Ryan's total value of 28.2, which wasn't much more than Kirk Cousins' 28. And that's what's important here. Kirk Cousins, $28 million, fully guaranteed over 3 years. That's $84 million. I know because I've previously done that math. $84 million over 3 years. Now, Aaron Rodgers is going to make $103. He's making $19 million more over the next 3 years. But remember that's $73 on the back end. And remember, Kirk Cousins going back to the open market. And the way that the Vikings have structured this deal, and there's either a no franchise tag clause in there, and as a practical matter, it will be impossible to transition tag him, whatever the case may be. The way the Cousins deal is structured, he's going back to the market in 3 years. So he'll have 84 in hand, and when you look at the base deal of 176, he needs $92 million over the next 3 years once he hits the open market again. And when you consider the Jets offered him $90 million over 3 and he said no, the salary cap's going to go up. The market's going to go up. If Cousins continues to play at an acceptable level, not even a top 5 or top 10 level, just acceptable, he's going to get $92 million over the next 3 years. So I think there's a very good chance that Kirk Cousins ends up making more than 176 over the next 6 years, which means that Aaron Rodgers left money on the table, left meat on the bone, and that's fine. That's his prerogative. But when we heard all these rumblings about having flexibility and different ways and creativity and things that can be done versus the meat and potatoes approach that the Packers like to take, meat and potatoes won the day here. There's nothing creative. There's nothing that protects Aaron Rodgers. It pays him a load of money. But there's a chance that Kirk Cousins, who doesn't even belong in the same sentence as Aaron Rodgers from a talent and accomplishment standpoint, sorry, Kirk, but Kirk knows. I mean, really, what's he going to say? I'm as good as Aaron Rodgers? Come on. We all know. But he may make more over the next 6 years than Aaron Rodgers because of the fact that he will go back to the market in 3 years.